Hello, I'm Kevin Laura de la Cruz, and this is the title of my poster, Giving Reading Feedback Using ICT Tools. First, let's see my context. It is at Prócer Manuel Calderón de la Barca, which is a secondary school in the furthest part of Viñani in Tacna region. I have 16 students. All of them are second graders, aged 12 to 14 years. Some of the students work or assume other responsibilities at home because of the very difficult situation we're living nowadays. It was a challenging year where we have to look for different ways to innovate and support students. Well, this situation undermines my students' performance in terms of learning, especially in how to feed back to them in reading. I chose this topic because I have some experience in researching about ICT tools in understanding tests in English, and it has a positive impact in face-to-face classes. Now I want to know how it works in virtual classes and focus my research in giving reading feedback if an ICT tool can provide feedback effectively. Let's continue with my exploratory questions. I have 4 of them. Number 1. What ICT tools do I use to give reading feedback? Number 2. What do researchers say about using ICT tools to give reading feedback? Number 3. How often do I give reading feedback using ICT tools? And number 4. What do my students think about receiving reading feedback using ICT tools? These are my questions. These are the methods I used to collect data. I have 3 of them. Journal, after every class. Other authors' opinion. It was really useful to know first what other authors said or affirmed about giving reading feedback using ICT tools. The last one, questionnaire. It was part of exploration to know students' perception about receiving reading feedback with ICT tools. What about my findings? It was based on a successful experience. In this experience, I used quizzes, alright? So it was used to give reading feedback. It provides immediate and asynchronous feedback in a gamification environment. Also, researchers mentioned using ICT tools engage students to learn and be motivated for its components. However, we need to be conscious about internet access and technology management. It can be struggling for some students. And finally, quizzes reports can help students to identify their strengths and weaknesses, and teachers to identify students' progress. And they have their own space because nobody is pressuring them. My action plan. Getting ready. First, identify students' weaknesses and needs. Later, adapt apprending content. Make and adapt activities from quizzes. Focus on understanding tests in English. I already focused on those 3 points. Leading, lateral questions, critical questions. Next step, immediate reading feedback. Students develop the exercises. Quizzes gives the answers to questions at the moment. Alright, so quizzes also brings a PDF presentation of the exercises for ones with internet issues. Asynchronous reading feedback. Students' self-reflection. Why? Because the students read quizzes reports, reflect on their misses, and try again. For students with internet issues, they can download the PDF version. Individual feedback. Use the reports to identify and check a student's progress. Send WhatsApp audios or make phone calls to each student to give reading feedback considering their needs. For the other side, we have being responsive, taking advantage of quizzes, because quizzes has many different features, like you can include mimes, music, superpowers if they got some mistakes when developing the exercise. So it's like gamification environment. It's just they feel comfortable developing the exercises. So it is used to identify students' weaknesses as a resource when planning next class. I could reflect on my teaching a lot, especially on the topic I chose about giving reading feedback using ICT tools. I'm very interested to continue supporting my students, looking for innovative ways to support my students in their English learning. I'm so excited to share what I've learned with my colleagues and my college students to innovate together and motivate our students not only to learn English, also be happy and comfortable at developing English skills. Thank you so much.